I want to know. Now I mean, this your guy right here, Wolf. So I want
I
to get your
mean,
take on this. Now I'm saying, so now I mean, they saying Guwap snitching, man. Now I mean, they saying he drop a dime. They say he out here ratting. They call it Atlanta Ratlanta. Know I'm saying?
that ain't got nothing to do with Gucci, man. Gucci is not
I mean,
snitching.
he
Let me
from
be
Atlanta.
clear.
So I mean,
There's a lot of people signing things and doing all types of, you know what I mean? Shout out to them. But if we talking Gucci, Gucci is not cooperating, bro,
okay,
at all. Not one bit.
okay. So how you
Now,
think this went down?
listen, this is how it went down. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like I was there.
Right, right.
Nah, but allegedly, Gucci always got a off duty officer with him. You know what I mean? A cop, a retired cop.
Right.
It's just, yo, listen, man. This could have been resolved in a better manner. This
Mm-hmm.
is why history repeats itself because you got to know how this go.
Right.
Remember that Dr. Dre, and Easy E, they did this before. Suge Knight, they didn't did all this, and this is why Dre Day turned out to be Easy Payday because they tried to get Easy E to get him out the joint. The signature did not hold up in court, and Dre had to pay for that. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
this is why we tell young rappers and young artists and history just repeats itself. You gotta be tapped in and know the law, learn it. Even if you make someone sign something under distress, it will not hold up in court. And I ain't gonna lie, your signature funny money won't hold up in court. You know what I mean? So
Right.
this is a classic case of like, yo, I had it up to here with this nigga. Let me out my deal. I'm going
Right.
to see him. You know what I mean? He gonna let me out the deal today. You know what I mean? Regardless of how you feel about him, I'm not saying Gucci does the best signings ever. You know what I mean? He's no Jay. I don't even want to say Jay because people don't like the way all the time how Jay-Z do things. I say Rick Ross. I think the most successful, but yeah, he's no Rick Ross. You know what I mean? But or
I mean, but I
Cash.
think Guwap. Nah, I mean, he discovered a lot of. I mean, what we deem as. I mean,
Yeah, he
to
did. That's what
think
I'm
are
saying.
big names right now. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
He just didn't necessarily take care of him the way he should have.
Right.
But you know, what I mean, that's neither here nor there. I think if somebody discover you, you should owe them a gratitude of because it's hard to get in the game.
Right.
So if somebody put you in the game, man, it's time to negotiate later. You know what I mean?
Yo, but let me ask you this though. Like, did you see the paperwork?
Yeah, I think it's the other guys. Like they didn't know. I'm sure Pooh Shiesty, his father, and the other goons, Big 30, they did not know that it was an off duty. Otherwise, they would have not did it.
All right, but
You know what I
look, this is
mean?
what I will say. Now I mean, because we gonna keep it a rack. This is what we do here on Cut the Cat.
Absolutely.
Now I'm saying this might be a hard pill for you to swallow.
What
Know
you
I'm
mean?
saying because I know this your guy. You feel me? So I
Okay.
mean, it will hurt my heart too. Now I mean, if it's if I found out something like this about one of my guys, I'm just saying because you looking uncomfortable over there.
How?
Listen, I'm
What?
just saying you.
I know
Yo,
Gucci not
you
telling me.
make it. Yo, that's crazy. Yo.
I know. I know. I mean, you know what I mean, on business, because Gucci was mad quiet.
Okay, now look. Now
Okay.
I hear what you're saying. I think by this point we already heard the story,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So I think we more or less we know what happened. We know what
Okay.
went down. Know
Okay.
what I'm saying? Now I hear what you're saying about the off duty security guard who was a cop. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But apparently based off the paperwork, right? He wasn't in the room when the joint went down. Okay? He was outside the room.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the joint,
Yeah.
right? So even if let's just say he was the one that reported the situation. Know what I mean? Based off the paperwork, know what I mean? They got abbreviations for names on the paperwork,
Yeah. Yeah. I seen it.
right?
I'm sure we seen the same paperwork.
Okay, so they got RD,
Yeah. RD. Yeah.
which is Guap, right?
That is.
Based
Yeah,
off
man.
that. What you mean? That's his name.
I mean, yeah. I get you. I get you. I got you.
It clearly states at the
I thought you
start
was
of the
about to say he's a
paperwork.
snitch. You know what I mean? Go.
I'm just saying. Look, let me,
I know. Listen,
let me land. Scrap.
yeah,
Hold
you're
on.
right.
Let
You're
me
right. You're right.
land.
You're right. You're
Right.
right, blood. You're right, blood.
All right. So there is a piece in the paperwork. Okay. That does state. It states 3 different names. Well,
Yeah.
abbreviations.
Okay.
Right. You got MM, which is supposedly the cameraman. You got BP, which was Guap Man, supposedly. And then
Okay.
you got RD, which is Guap, right? Based off his real name, his government name, right? It does say all 3 individuals, including RD, described what Pooh Shiesty had on. Know what I mean? From the Shiesty to the clothes he had on and all that. Okay? And then there is another part in the paperwork that states RD, right? RD described who the Big 30 guy was, right? So I mean, and if we gonna listen, if we gonna call a spade, I mean that would be
No.
snitching.
That paperwork is fraudulent.
That
Gucci is not telling. I'm gonna reply again. Yo, listen. Yo, listen.
yo, the paperwork is from that's the federal, that's the paperwork, bro.
If Gucci was telling, this is why so many people not saying like, yo, Gucci tell it, because they know Gucci ain't saying nothing. He not saying, he's not cooperating. His man actually walked in, the off-duty dude walked in, and but he couldn't do nothing. He's outnumbered.
No, he couldn't. No, he didn't walk in. He tried to. He
Yeah,
couldn't
he
get
tried to. Yeah, so he could. But it's all on camera. They in the studio.
Right.
There is no pointing out nothing. It's already there.
Right, absolutely. But still, he still described. He still identified. If you identify somebody, that's snitching, scrap.
I do not believe that Gucci identified anyone. Now, I can't speak up for none of the other jabronis in the room. But I can pretty much, I'm 75% sure Gucci man ain't said a word.
75% is crazy. What?
I'm
How you get to that number?
10-17, I'm 10-17 sure.
Right.
Gucci ain't tell nothing. Gucci
So
was
what
like,
you-
yo,
so
we'll
what you
handle
saying
it the
about
way
the
we
paperwork?
handle it. What? The paperwork? That
So you
paperwork,
saying that paperwork is what?
that paperwork ain't the paper working. It ain't working. It ain't, that's internet. You know what I mean? That is internet. We go come back to this 3-4 months later, and Gucci goes or whatever, however long it take, he gonna be like, I ain't say nothing. I was.
Listen, let me get this clear. Know what I'm saying? For the I hope you right. Right?
I am. I know.
I'm
I know
not
my
saying,
Gucci.
yo,
I
listen,
know my Gucci.
I'm not saying, yo, I know my Gucci is crazy.
Yeah, I know my
Yo,
Gucci.
listen, I hope you right. Okay? I hope you right. I hope that's not a fact. I hope there's something else going on. Know what I'm saying? But I ain't gonna sit here. I don't care who it is. Know what I'm saying? Like, we gonna keep it a stack.
Right.
We
As
gonna
we
keep
should.
it tall. Know what I'm saying? That
As we
goes for
should.
anybody and everybody. Know what I'm saying? If you a snitch, you a snitch. You a rat, you a rat.
Absolutely.
You a master splinter, you are a master splinter, scrap. Know what I'm saying? And based off what I read in that paperwork, I'm just saying. Know what I mean? If you identify anybody in a crime, right? That's you snitching. If you describe anybody in a crime, that is you snitching. Know what I'm saying? Now, does that mean I'm saying he going to the extent of cooperating when they go to trial and things of that nature? I don't think he'll go. I don't think he'll do all that. I don't think he gonna go to the stand up on the stand,
Right.
and and testifying things
Yeah,
of that
not
nature. You know what I'm
saying
saying?
it was him.
Right,
Your
right. I
Honor.
don't think he doing all that, but that doesn't diminish whatever he said already, though.
Gucci is a very smart man. Listen, you keep that off. Let me tell you why Gucci is a smart man. Gucci kept the best officer, the best security is the off-duty cops because you ain't got to say nothing. They are literally when you become a cop. I know this. This is a fact. You know this too. There is a law when you become a cop that means you can't turn a blind eye.
Right,
So even if that cop wanted to be like, I ain't gonna report
right,
it, he'll be in trouble
right.
for not, especially something with that, guns cross the state lines. Yeah, bro, Gucci ain't had to do
Nah,
nothing
nah,
but be
nah. I
like,
agree
yeah,
with that. Nah, yeah, I agree with that 100%. You know what I'm saying? He. Listen, I don't think. I'm not saying Guwap was the one that picked up the jack, called the boys, and said, "Yo, I just got robbed." Right? I ain't saying that.
okay.
I'm with you on that. Now I'm saying I'm pretty sure it probably, the off duty officer. Now I mean was
The camera dude said, I'm telling.
yeah, facts. Now I'm saying listen, based off the paperwork, there's definitely way more people that's telling. Know what I'm saying than just Guwap. Know what I'm saying I ain't. You feel me?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying though, when it got to the point of the officers asking him questions, right? He identified. Once again, he didn't look. He described what Pooh Shiesty had on. That's what it said in the paperwork.
That's propaganda
It
for the
said he had
internet
a
to go
Nike. It
crazy.
said he had a Nike ski mask. You know what I'm saying? It said, and we seen it in the video. Now, in the pictures that they showed on the paperwork. Know what I mean?
Gucci said no such thing, man.
And then
That's
he
all
identified
propaganda.
the Big 30 dude. Know what I'm saying?
No,
So
nah.
yeah, he identified the Big 30 dude. He identified his Instagram and all that.
That's all propaganda to try to bring down
Okay.
Gucci's name, man. Gucci stood tall. He didn't, you know what I mean? He had to give it up. You gotta respect the jokes. We was raised respect the joke.
Oh yeah,
Ain't,
yeah. No, we're not talking about the jokes. Yeah, for
you know what I
sure.
mean? They
Nah, you
got
ain't.
me.
Yeah.
He playing outside. Actually, the only thing Gucci did that was crazy, but I understood him. I understand Pooh Shiesty too.
Yo, but hold on. Before you go to your thought,
Okay.
if he did what, I want you to answer this question.
Hypothetically,
Okay.
go what, man?
All right. Hypothetically. Okay. Allegedly.
Allegedly, man.
Right. Okay. Allegedly.
I know Guwap.
If that it was right that
Okay.
he did say those things, or he described what the man had on, or he identified one of the other guys, is that to you, is that snitching?
Yes, if you point out, yo, he had on a black hoodie with a shirt that
Right.
said War Zone, you're a
Right.
snitch.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But now if let's say that it happened and then he's on the phone with his, you know what I mean, and they just overhear him talk to his people or whatever, and they say, well, he's saying that he not talking to the police. He might have been on the phone with his, you know what I mean?
Okay. The paperwork ain't say that, but okay.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't believe that
But I'm
paperwork.
saying, going back, hold on, you don't believe the paperwork?
I don't believe that paperwork.
Wow.
That paperwork is trying to make Gucci look like a snitch, and Gucci not a snitch.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think it's doing that, because if that was the case, they would have did more in the paperwork. It was only them 2 times in the paperwork where his name was attached to saying something.
And another thing, the only way he had to probably admit to that, because if they pull a camera up and you are in the scene, and they actually see, you could go to jail for that too, though. Like if we did a crime and if I'm on a podcast with you, and I see you got the NY hat on, you got the, I know
Right,
you,
right.
and then I just seen you shoot somebody behind you, and they got it on camera, and then they like, yo, did you see anything? I'm like, I didn't see nothing. Like,
Right. Yeah,
of
but
course
nah.
I know that's you
I mean,
on the camera.
but you could say, yeah, I don't remember, I don't recall. Know what I'm saying, I don't recall what he had on.
But I just said, yo, so what's the next topic, Wolf? They gonna be like, yo, you're going to jail. Yo, you literally, yo.
I feel you. Know what I'm saying? But you just said it. If you identify,
Right.
if you describe somebody, you would consider that. If this comes out that was facts,
Yeah.
where's your stance?
I need to know. I need to know what they meant by identifying. That's
What,
number one. We got to break that down.
what you mean?
I need to know. Yeah, I gave you a prime example. We on here, Wolf, right?
But if
And
I say, yo, this guy is this person,
yeah.
I mean, if you show me a picture and I say, yo, this guy is this person, or this guy, I know this
Nah,
guy
I
by
don't
this
think they did that.
Instagram, or I know this guy by this Instagram name. Know what I'm saying?
I don't think they did that. See, that I don't think happened.
But okay,
I
you
don't
doing
think
a
they
lot of
just
toe
like.
tapping right now.
No, I'm
Know what I'm
not.
saying?
I'm telling you an instance of the law to where it's like, yo, if you on camera, we all on camera, and they can look and see like, okay, this is him, this is you. You know them. You in videos with them. You in everything with them. You can't just be like, yo, I'm retarded. Pardon my language. I'm special ed. Oh no, pardon my. That's bad too. Oh my
That's
god. Oh
crazy.
my
Yo.
god. Oh my god. Okay, let bad special word. I have no common sense type of, you know what I mean? Sorry, I'm from the old school. So old school, you know, they used to make fuss of me for those two words. But you know what I mean? If you are of the non-brain, if brain cells, let's do that. Let's get real nerdy on them. If you got low brain cells and you try to deny, like if police walk in right now and be like, yo, who is that on camera with you? And I just be like, no, I don't know him. I'm going to jail with you. You know what I mean?
No, that's not a fact. That's not.
I am going to jail with you. Yes.
No, that's not a fact.
How? If it's a fed case and I'll be with you every day. We on camera right now. I know your
I mean,
name.
if they connect those dots, then they connect those.
That's
dots.
what I'm saying. Like, yo, that's what I'm saying. These guys be together all the time.
Right.
They got videos together, songs together. It's like a family thing. You can't be like, I don't know that guy.
But you telling the feds, yo, he had on a black shiesty, a black Nike shiesty on his face.
Now, see, that's it.
And
See?
you telling them what they had on.
I agree with that.
But
I don't think he did that. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he did that.
So you think the paperwork is lying?
Yes, I think it was just a thing of like, yo, that's 30. That's man, those are the guys I be with. Those are my peoples, man. What? Obviously, yo, listen, obviously he thought those was his people. He there butt naked, and you know what I mean?
Right.
There's no way he's like, yo, he got the gun. He pointed in my face. Gucci's not doing that, bro.
I mean, it didn't say he said all that. I'm saying, but
that's snitching. That is snitching.
I mean, that's clearly snitching. But I don't think. Listen, if what is on that paperwork, if he said that, that is snitching, hands down.
Okay.
If you describing anybody, if you identifying anybody, that is you snitching.
Nah, but I see. That's what I'm saying. That's where the lines get crossed,
You just
man.
said he described. You just said describe it. So even if you take away the piece that he said about the identifying Big 30, he still described what homie had on.
I don't think he did that.
Okay.
I think the most I think what happened is this is what I think, in my opinion. In the internet, they love to troll, so the trolls go win every time. But it's like, yo, yeah, that's killer. That's Wolf with me. Yeah.
We're gonna come back to this, man. We're gonna come back to this.
Yeah.
You feel me? Because they walking out now.